Doodlebomb here, and I am going to be making a custom case for this little video game I have right here. I'm going to be making this case out of things that I just happen to have lying around that I think will turn out pretty good. And that first thing is, this is the container that a replacement PSP screen came in that I got to make a repair a few months ago. So this seemed like a nice little book to start off with. This case also works really well because it has this foam insert already. Now they are at different thicknesses, but the awesome part is I can just cut the inside out to make the game fit in really snugly and actually function as a game case without having to do too much work. And I already plan on coming up with a way to cover up where that seam is, where the two different foams meet. So ultimately, I think it'll work out just fine. While I trace and cut that out so it fits nice and snug, I guess I should probably tell you why I have a very tiny cartridge inside of an equally tiny plastic bag. And the simple reason is this is how the very nice man in Peru sold it to me. He also agreed to take a photo with me and he even posed, and I appreciate him very, very much. And yes, I know the game in the photo is not the game that I'm making the case for right now. They are different games. I just happened to pose with him for that game. I did buy 2 Uncharted games while in Peru. But that's a whole nother story and should be coming out on YouTube in a couple months. Now that the foam is cut out and glued in and I'm happy with the fit of everything, it is time to do the actually fun part, which is to sketch out the plan and then start painting. One of the things that Uncharted is known for is Nathan Drake's insane and inhuman ability to climb and jump all the things all the time forever. So with that in mind, I wanted to sketch out an image where he's jumping. I also wanted to show that it takes place in a jungle like the game does, and because is there anything more adventure-y than a jungle? I do want to point out that this layout I made is actually really me just trying to replicate the Japanese only edition of the case that came out when the game launched way back when. Here I start setting up my acrylic paints for the job. I used dark green, primary cyan, burnt sienna, Mars black, titanium white, and primary yellow. Here you can see my watercolor background taking over, and I start making washes. Then I realize that this is a cardboard thing, and it is not really that durable, and so then I had to rein myself in and use less washes and stop thinning out my acrylic, even though that's what my heart wants, and just accept that I need to mix the colors and put them on a little bit thicker, and it'll be fine, and I won't make the cardboard warp or anything like that. While doing the rocks, I was trying to let a little bit of that original cardboard color shine through, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. And then when I go on to painting the greenery, I would mix up a color green and try and use it on every single spot that had green before mixing any more colors or mixing any other in, because I was trying to keep it pretty cohesive. And you may notice I went pretty light on that green in the lower right hand corner, and that's because that green is actually not in the foreground, and I wanted to help show that distance, and one of the ways to do that is to kind of have your colors thinner or less saturated and draw less attention to them. And you can see me doing the reverse of that in the top right corner because I wanted that tree branch to look like it was the closest to the viewer. So of all the green I do in here, this is one of the darkest spots. And then the other spot is in that crevice in the rock face where it starts to recess into the jungle. And now we've reached the phase in the painting where I remember my 3rd grade art teacher saying, make your lights light and your darks darker. And then I go in and I make all my lights lighter and all my darks darker, and this helps the overall feel of the painting an enormous amount. And you may have noticed that there is one glaringly obvious unpainted spot on this painting, dead center, and it's the main character Nathan Drake. And the reason for that is I am a wimp and I was scared to paint him. But now I cannot put it off any longer, and so we have to really address the focal point of this whole project. Also, I would like to take this moment to apologize for how many times my noggin appears in the video. And once Nathan Drake was done, I realized just how much water cardboard can absorb and decided to go back in and redo most of the sky. I also noticed that most of the jungle looks a little bit flat, And after putting those nice highlights on Nathan Drake's chest and shoulder, I thought this would be a good time to go in and highlight a little bit of the foliage and help demonstrate where that light is coming in for the whole scene. And that's it for the painting portion. But by this time I remembered I had not addressed the weirdness of the foam on the inside, so it was time to tackle that problem before I could be done. What I ended up doing was just getting some parchment looking paper that I have and cutting out a square, and then cutting out a square on the inside of that to reveal where the game cartridge lays. And here are the final results. Da 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 da! I freaking love this little guy and how it turned out. If you all have made your own custom game cases, please put them in the comments below because I would love to see those. Other than that, thank you so much for watching, and if you like this video, please consider liking and subscribing below. I will see you on the next one.